What is up, sexy people of the internet? It is Dave, it is Duncan, back from Metal Epidemic for another album review. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album from Spanish post-hardcore band Boneflower. The band's new album, Reveries, will be released on July 25th via Deathwish Inc. Since their formation, Boneflower have embraced a hard-working DIY ethos, touring extensively across Europe and sharing the stage with bands like Touche Amore, Loma, Prieta, State Faults, Trauma Ray, and others. Their commitment to the craft and the underground scene has earned them a loyal following. In 2015, they released their debut demo EP, which was later reissued on vinyl in 2016 through a collaboration of labels. The follow-up, the LP Empty Rooms Full Bodies, arrived in 2017, released through a partnership of 8 underground labels. And then in 2018, the band dropped 3 digital singles before releasing their highly anticipated sophomore album, Armour, on Dog Nights Productions. Reveries is their most ambitious album to date, featuring 13 powerful tracks that capture the band's evolution. Recorded at Ultramarinos with Borja Perez, who also provides guest vocals, the album also features a notable guest appearance from Jeremy Boehm of Touche Amore, who lends his voice to the track Pomegranate. The album further solidifies Boneflower's place in the post-hardcore landscape with its atmospheric yet intense blend of emotion and musicality. So, Boneflower, Duncan. Totally new to this band.
100%, yeah.
But what a better time to get into the band than album 3, Duncan.
3.
I also, I was thinking this today, I don't think I know of any other Spanish post-hardcore bands. I was trying to rack my brains of.
So Spanish language, you could go with a band like At the Drive-In. Although they did sing in English, were they American or were they Mexican? Oh. This is where we show our complete ignorance. I bet they were American. I bet they were full-on American.
I think there was definitely some other kind of.
I thought they had Mexican band members, but like I say, let's not anger the internet with the fact that you know what I love about this is it's easily fact checked. You can easily do a fact check, but you know what? That takes away from talking about the music. So let's not do that.
Let's do that. Yeah, let's go on the album.
That's the only one that I could think of Spanish language wise. Yeah.
Yeah. There's another band called Joliet. They're a post-hardcore band, but I think they're Mexican as well. Actually, now that I think about it. Anyway, Firstly, I love a good post-hardcore album. Duncan.
You do love it. That's why you had the nickname for years, Post-Hardcore Dave.
Did I?
Well, if you were sending a letter to you were posting to Hardcore Dave. Post-Hardcore Dave.
Okay.
That's a great joke.
We have reviewed some albums this year that have touched on post-hardcore. I don't think we've reviewed any out-and-out post-hardcore albums this year. What was that?
I was going to say the Playing Into the Hillside band. What were they called again?
Playing Into the Hillside band. And Different Engine? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Post-hardcore.
A wee bit. Okay.
I would say 85% post-hardcore.
I mean, yeah, I'm okay. I'll give you that.
15% something. So don't argue with me. How dare you?
Anyway, what I was going to say was I was looking forward to checking this out because I love post-hardcore.
You do, post-hardcore Dave.
They are also on Deathwish Inc, which is they have had some massive, huge bands on the roster over the years, like Death Heaven, Code Orange, Harm's Way, Converge, Bosk, huge bands. So that's you get the idea, but huge. I did check out the band's previous 2 albums, Empty Rooms Full Bodies from 2017 and Armour from 2020. And you can hear in those albums there's potential there. When you listen, you go, all right, okay, I can see why bigger labels will be looking at this band. Also, you can hear the trajectory they're on as well, going from that first album into the second one. So it's no huge surprise that they've been snapped up by a label like Deathwish, because you can hear that the quality just getting more and more on each release. And that kind of trajectory has, for me, hit an incredibly high point with this release. We had 4 albums on our review list this week. And this is the one that I spun the most out of all the releases.
Yeah, I've listened to this a whole fucking lot. I've been traveling a lot this week, so it's been very cathartic for me to listen to this.
Yeah, it's the one that I was like, oh, I really want to go back and listen to that album again. And I think I did about 8 listens of it overall. And basically the conclusion of that is I actually fucking love this album. I think this is fucking great. Actually, for a post-hardcore album, did have some more surprises than I was expecting as well. This isn't a band that necessarily stick 100% within post-hardcore, although it is the foundation of their sound. But they do bring in, parts kind of a little bit of like Screamo, post-rock, alternative, even some Blackened elements in here as well.
Some scorched earth vocals, Dave. Scorch that earth.
So yeah, it doesn't stick within one lane. The sound is quite flexible on this release, and to be honest, flexible is a description I'd use for this album in general. I think I love the kind of the fluidity of this release. I got the feeling that a lot of this was probably tracked as a band, and then they've maybe done some overdubs to it later on, but it just has this really incredibly natural, real kind of flowing kind of vibe to it. I'm pretty sure for most tracks anyway, they are not using a click track or metronome, because there are tempo changes during tracks here that are not like a kind of standard, like, oh, here's a halftime breakdown. It's like there's a literal like slowing down, like this kind of gradual, measured kind of way.
It's people in the room making eye contact, you know what I mean?
For sure, 100%. And it's completely intentional on these tracks. I'm not saying this is like a criticism. It's, that tempo change or fluctuation is part of the arrangements. It's done for effect to lead into something more introspective or more chaotic. And they do it in such like a clean, smooth way. Like they are very, very good at what they do. Clearly been at this a while, because you can tell by the playing and the kind of the compositions are just very incredibly interlinked and very seamless. Like when they shift from one part to another, even the way they integrate that kind of black metal, kind of Blackgaze kind of type moment into the album is fucking awesome. Like just as an example, track 6, Coup de Grace, which is like, for me, is like a home run of a track. Love it. And it does have like some kind of Death Heaven-esque kind of character. They don't necessarily sound the same. Death Heaven are much more extreme, but the tone and the texture of it, the way they mix that kind of savage side with something, like clean, and how expansive it gets.
It's how it makes you feel when you listen to it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's the same emotion you feel when you listen to both, regardless if one's more extreme than the other.
For sure, yeah. Even like track 7 as well, Sad Bird had like these like extreme moments of like blast beats, which again just push the boundaries of the band's limits even further. Especially with the way they couple it with that kind of like black metal type vocal as well, from Eric, I think the vocalist's name is. Incredible. Track 9, Anniversary. It had a kind of, it reminded me a little bit of Beaten to Death from Norway. That it's kind of got that the blast beats, but there's it's that kind of like melodic grind kind of feel to it. It reminded me of them just a little bit, but yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this before in the press release, but this is just a trio as well. This is 3 guys, which is like,
oh right, hello.
It's kind of nuts. I didn't know this, but there was a photo of the band with the press release, and I was like, oh my god, this is like 3 guys. Like, what the fuck? Like this sounds like it should be like a quintet or a quartet. Like it has that size and breadth of like a larger band. So I would not have guessed a trio hadn't, if I hadn't seen that photo. But I think like for me, the kind of main like positives for this one were just the way they blend styles is fantastic on this. Like the ratios they use are perfect. And having that Blackened element in your back pocket, it makes it really exciting, because you're never sure like when they're going to just light that fuse. And it's kind of like the perfect genre to match with post-hardcore, because it's as a genre it's highly emotional and intense, and Boneflower deliver that in spades on this release. Like you can always tell like a good post-hardcore band from an average one, because you'll feel that passion and that emotion like straight away. And a lot of the times it's like mainly like a vocal characteristic for me that puts that across. And Eric does that brilliantly here. He's got that fire and that raw emotion in his vocal delivery. Like that kind of feeling you get where like this guy could just break down at any moment. Like it's that volatile. But the best post-hardcore albums are very much like that. But also on the musical side as well, which
music's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's all like post-hardcore stuff is not always like emotionally like heightened musically. It's usually a vocal thing for me. But here, musically, it was very poignant. Like there was moments on this album I was just like just fucking zoned out. Like I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. The instrumental track. I gazed at the starred night all alone, and blood tasted like honey in my mouth, lethargic. It's a mouthful of a track, yeah, okay. But like absolutely stunning. Like
it's a beautiful song.
I got lost in that. Like I was just like, wow. And it's like 3.5 minutes, but it's almost like meditative. It's like like the kind of state, the zone that kind of puts you in. It's quite amazing.
Like statement of like those like really well kind of painted images where you start to like really draw into the detail, and you can feel your eyes wandering for them before you know it. You've been staring at it for half an hour, and you're like, it just goes like that, just like disappears. Time evaporates around it. So
yeah, like just every track had something. Like each track on here is so like unique and individual, but the way they're all linked together is fantastic. Like it just flows brilliantly. There's a huge amount of reward in the re-listens for me. And again, for a 3-piece band, it's surprisingly layered and textured. It takes you through this like quite a variety of different feelings and different moods. It can be very chaotic and intense at times, but also like very reflective and dreamlike as well. I loved the kind of the feeling this album gave me. Production also fits the character of the album perfectly. The guitar tones are bright and vibrant, but have that kind of level of crunch to them at the same time. Drums are hugely punchy, and the bass has a really nice kind of warmth to it that just is able to kind of crack through the levels of kind of distortion from the guitars and vocally as well. I'm struggling to find a fault with this one, to be honest. It's one of those albums that just kind of hit me in all the right places. I can't remember a post-hardcore album like this that's impressed me as much in the last few years, to be honest. I'm the only saving grace here is it's a July release.
I know, yeah. It's like, yeah, it was the first concern when I got to the end of the first listen was, I don't need anyone fucking my mid-year list at the moment. Really.
We're about to record
with enough.
Yeah, we're about to record our mid-year list, and we've decided it's going to be January to end of June. So this one,
30th of June, anything after 30th of June cannot be considered. And we've already heard
really
about one or two things that could have maybe made waves. This one definitely would have made waves. So
this is fantastic. I absolutely love this band and this album. Like a band that are completely now on my radar, and I'll be keeping a close watch on these guys as well going forward. Loved it. What about yourself? What are you thinking?
Yeah, this is fucking excellent. I'm not fully in on the post-hardcore stuff that you are.
Yeah.
But like, I know the good stuff. Like the good stuff is the stuff that makes me feel. It makes me feel vulnerable, alone, isolated, like kind of grief-ridden, like just like a cup overflowing with some level of emotion that needs a place to escape. The closest we've got to that in the last wee while was Riverhead. With Jakob Bredel, which was a deeply personal album to him, and we said while we were listening to it, we could feel it coming through the tracks, like that experience of kind of surviving, going through being diagnosed and surviving cancer. It's kind of is in the same sort of wheel for me, where listening to this, like being emotional about something, like being like passionately emotional about something, is never one feeling. I think that's sometimes where bands trip up, because they try to convey like heartbreak But Heartbreak comes out in one tone, and Heartbreak is never one tone of an emotion. That's why I love that first Glassjaw album, because like every single song on that is about breaking up. None of those songs sound the same, because that's kind of what breaking up with someone you love with sounds like. Listening to Reveries was a great exercise, and I think it's the flow you're talking about that works here. Is the emotions actually flow into each other as the next logical step in recovery or descendance or whatever that felt like. I adore the vocals on this. That savage black metal tone against those clean post-hardcore tones is just like, give me everything you got. You know what I mean? I'll have all of that, please. It's so fucking good. It's so good. And it's all over this. Like there are times where I moan that bands overuse a technique. Like, it's all over this, and I could have had more. I genuinely thought it was great. But there are those vulnerable moments with quieter, more melodic vocals that just like appear in certain tracks and give you something else. And those big kind of whoa kind of moments that are once again not overused but really well done. The music in this is fucking wonderful. The production is incredible. Well, this has. We've already mentioned this, but it kind of has like a kind of like early 2000s kind of post-hardcore sound to it. But it just sounds modern now. It sounds like there's a fresh coat of paint put on this one. They haven't fucked with what was underneath it, you know. Like no one's like Artex the ceiling and then painted it, you know. They've kind of kept it as natural as possible. And it sounds excellent. I got to the end of my first listen on this one and I spun it again straight away and then spun it again straight away. So I listened to this 3 times on my journey down to the place I was going to. And I almost listened to it like the 4th time back to back on the bus journey to the hotel I was staying at, because I was just in. And I realised that when you lock into this album, time, that it does just disappear. You forget about things. You're just solely locked into how it makes you feel. And not every song or every band or every like album you listen to necessarily needs to make you feel, but in this genre it has to make you feel. Like if you don't connect with it, if you don't feel something when listening to post-hardcore, I would say that you're either dead inside, which is a possibility, or the band haven't articulated the message right. On here it's impeccably done. I just love the switches, like the code switching and playing is just immaculate. It is as clean. If these guys are recording in a room together, they've been rehearsing for months beforehand. Every transition is as clean as it can possibly be without sounding like someone has fucked with it on a computer. It's a miraculous listen, and very much like yourself, like after a few spins of this one, the thing that was in the back of my head is, I don't know what damage this would do if this was a June release, because I seriously think this would mess with my top 10 list. This is brilliant. We're beating around the bush here. I think it's inevitable we're going to give our scores. I'd be surprised if they're not the same score, but yeah, I will rinse this album to death this year, and probably beyond that with great ease. I think it is absolutely wonderful, and I never heard of them before, and I really want to see them live. Want to see them live. So hopefully, bigger label, bit more presence. Hopefully they get out of Spain and make a donder across to Scotland. I would love to check these guys out live.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, final thing. Scores for the album from Boneflower. I mean, it kind of blows my mind, really, that a band can put across that emotion and that feeling. Talking about their own experiences, but it hits me somewhere, just like, that's just nuts. I mean, I'm like feeling this emotion from some other guy's experience, whatever he's singing about. But I loved every second of this. And as I said, I've come back to it like 8 times in the last week or so. So this will be in heavy rotation for the rest of the year, I imagine. For me, it's, as I said, I couldn't find any fault with it, so this is a 5 for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this one, and looking forward to whatever these guys do next. Hopefully they do come over to the UK, over to Scotland would be great. What are you thinking yourself?
100% with you. This is a 5-star album. It's absolutely brilliant. Nice. I'm loving my my list this year of top bands because none of them really sound that I like, and they're covering different genres, but they are prime examples of why you never really write off post-hardcore, you never really write off death metal, you can never really write off genres that have been with us forever, because there are bands out there doing like incredible work, but adding something to it that you kind of need in your rotation. And this will be played to death this year. So nice. 5 for me.
Awesome. Boneflower Reveries out on July 25th on Deathwish Inc. Check out the links to the band, the pre-order, have a listen, see what you think. Happy to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. That is our review. Thank you for checking it out. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.